Hey you! Welcome to Openminded. We hope you enjoy our video. Taking a cold plunge used to be a very uncomfortable, maybe even painful situation that people never wanted to put themselves through, especially with the invention of the boiler. However, icy showers have quickly grown to become the early morning ritual du jour, especially among members of the wellness community. Turns out, starting your day out with a cold shower actually has a lot of benefits for you and your body. The early morning cold shower is more than an activity or a routine. It is a movement, and it began with Wim Hof, a Dutch fitness enthusiast, also known as Iceman. Wim Hof is popular for his achievement as a mountain climber, but Hof is not just your average mountain hiker. This man scales up to the brutally cold and snowy peaks of the highest mountains, wearing nothing but his swim shorts. He also makes sure to take his morning bath in a bathtub filled to the brim with ice blocks. You'd probably expect that such an extreme activity would end up becoming a fringe movement, but not so for this one. Hof's extreme methods are gaining more popularity, and in fact, if you want to be literally baptized into the Wim Hof Method by Wim Hof himself, you can simply pay a token and that would be done. Hof's big idea behind the whole extremely cold shower practice is that the average human coddles themselves. That is, they do not allow themselves to get exposed to certain extreme conditions, which could force their bodies to adapt to certain levels of stress. Hof believes that we can combine breathing with meditation and then cap it all with cold exposure to protect our bodies from certain diseases, mental anxieties, as well as environmental stress. It's pretty much a spiritual journey for Hof at this point. See what he writes in his book, Becoming the Iceman. Fear does not go away by itself. You have to confront your fear, mold it, then learn to control it in its own irrational reality. Every human being has the power to do just that. To go deep within and confront your inner being is a powerful act. Going deep and developing willpower is the only way. Now, even though Hof is probably the most prominent and most influential voice advocating for cold showers in the biohacker community, he isn't the only voice. Tim Ferriss, author of The 4-Hour Body, also swears by the routine of starting out your day with a cold shower, and mentioned that he takes 3 10-minute ice baths every week. In his book, Ferriss explains that by showering with cold water first thing in the morning, you'll be able to turbocharge your metabolism and improve your mood. It's like how they say to eat a frog in the morning, and it's the worst thing you'd ever have to do all day. So if you take a shower first thing in the morning, whatever else comes along during your day would seem like a walk in the park. Now, before you write the entire thing off as a mindless, para-religious activity, wait a bit. Science might have a couple things to say about cold therapy. Let's talk about that a bit. In 2008, the National Institutes of Health discovered that taking cold showers might help people with depression feel a little better. And in 2014, another study proved that cold showers may also help with pain management, alleviating asthma symptoms, reducing fatigue, and a lot more benefits. In fact, a 2006 study showed that people who take cold showers regularly tend to take fewer sick days from work. Still, for those with heart conditions or a family history of stroke, you might want to speak with your doctor before taking the plunge. Pregnant women might also want to speak with their doctor first before taking a cold shower. And now that we've laid that foundation, let's get back to the benefits of taking a cold shower. And these are backed by science, by the way. First off, cold therapy could help with depression. According to the stats, 1 in every 4 people is likely to suffer from a form of mental health condition or the other. That's a staggering statistic, and many have proposed different ways of treating such conditions. One of such treatments that could help is the Wim Hof cold shower treatment. A study published in the Medical Hypotheses Journal in 2014 showed that only 2 to 3 minutes of exposure to cold water over the course of several months can have an antidepressant effect on the human brain. It's like when we get frostbite. Whenever your body feels like you're going to catch your death in a cold, it begins to reroute blood to the vital areas of your body, namely the head and the heart. Doing this triggers the release of noradrenaline and beta-endorphin, which can boost your mood. Also, you might just be able to lose some weight using the Wim Hof cold shower therapy. If you're tired of the dieting and HIIT sessions, then maybe taking cold showers might do the trick. According to Wim Hof, when your body is exposed to cold water, it produces brown rather than white fat. Brown fat cells keep us warm, while white fat makes us fat. In ancient times, when we were still hunter-gatherers, we used to have a lot of brown fat. However, with modernization, we started to pack on more white fat, which is why many of us are overweight. Good news is that we can trick our bodies into producing brown fat again by exposing it to extreme conditions. In fact, there's a study that shows how the human body can burn an extra 250 calories through the activation of brown fat in just 3 hours of exposure to cold. Plus, exposing your body to cold water also boosts your metabolism, which means you can really shed some weight just by taking a cold bath. That said, athletes also have a lot to benefit from cold water therapy. Mostly, they'll be able to say goodbye to delayed onset muscle soreness, which is usually the bane of most amateur athletes' existence. If you're an athlete or you know one, you probably are familiar with the excruciating pain one can feel for a couple of days after a high-intensity workout session at the gym. But cold water can help with that by helping to reduce the pain and inflammation that typically come with heavy workout sessions. In fact, PAULA RADCLIFFE swears by cold water therapy. After a particularly treacherous run, she makes sure to take a cold shower to help with the pain, even for cyclists and swimmers as well. It's been proven by a study published by the COCHRANE library that cold water can help manage pain after a demanding session. Cold water is able to do this because when your body gets cold, the arteries constrict, and this constriction reduces swelling, as well as waste tissue around the site of the pain or injury, so you hurt less. And overall, you tend to fall sick less often if you're a frequent cold shower taker. 10 cold swimmers were monitored over a short period of time, and it was observed that they increased their ability to adapt to oxidative stress thanks to their cold water exposure. Oxidative stress typically leads to an increased risk of certain debilitating diseases, such as cancer and heart disease. However, by triggering the production of glutathione, an antioxidant, repeated cold showers might help to reduce your risk for such illnesses. Another way cold showers can help you is by sharpening your focus. Obviously, if you jump out of bed into a cold shower, you shock yourself awake, but that's on the one hand. On the other hand, exposing the body to cold water will also cause a spike in blood flow to your heart, which will therefore increase your heart rate. It will also improve your lung function, so your body transports oxygen more efficiently, and all these processes work together to make you more focused and alert. One more reason to consider Wim Hof's cold shower therapy proposal is that it's been found that cold water exposure can help your body manage stress better, because not only does a cold shower trigger the production of antioxidants, it also helps to rid your body of toxic biological byproducts in the body, like catalase and superoxide dismutase. The result of this is that, at least at a basic level, your body will be better able to adapt to environmental stress. As you can see, the Wim Hof Method has many benefits for both physical and mental health. The practice stands on 3 powerful pillars, as it is described on the Wim Hof Method website. The 3 pillars are breathing, cold therapy, and commitment. A combination of these 3 elements as you practice your cold water exposure might just be the thing to give you your best life. And you don't have to take our word for it. There are scores of reviews on the internet about the Wim Hof Method, with many seeing benefits in a mere 2 weeks of beginning the therapy. Almost every one of them would admit to you that starting out was very difficult though. Exposing your body to that degree of cold would send one message and one message alone to your brain: get out. But one of the hallmarks of this method is commitment, and those who stayed committed to the method in spite of the discomfort found that their bodies were grateful to them for persevering. We've seen testimonies of people overcoming autoimmune disorders, rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia, Lyme disease, anxiety, depression, diabetes, infections, inflammation, and asthma. Even certain people with neuro-related issues have observed improvement using the Wim Hof cold water therapy method. So let us know in the comments what you think about this. Will you be trying out this method anytime soon, or would you like to? If you already are, feel free to share your experiences with us. Thank you very much for liking and subscribing if you enjoyed this video. Till we come your way with more interesting and informative videos. Thanks for watching, and have a great time.